Biz Sunday is brought to you by Bangor Savings Bank, where you can enjoy free ATMs worldwide. Watching Maine Biz Sunday, Maine's business news source.
Welcome back. Since entering the Blaine House, Governor Paul LePage has made headlines with several of his business and economic policy initiatives, from supporting the right-to-work legislation to proposing regulatory policy changes. But how will these initiatives affect Maine's business owners? To discuss the issues, we welcome David Clough, Maine Director for the National Federation of Independent Businesses, Peter Gore, Vice President of the Government Affairs at the Maine State Chamber of Commerce, and Kit St. John, Executive Director of the Maine Center for Economic Policy. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for being here. We have a lot to talk about, but I'm only going to have to focus on a couple things because we don't have a lot of time. So I really want to talk about the regulatory stuff first and just see how that, because it's not just the Governor LePage, but also we have the Republicans are dominating the legislature now, so there's definitely a change in how business is being done in Augusta. Regulatory changes certainly were campaigned on heavily in the last election, and with the Maine State Chamber and the Maine Development Foundation, when you did your surveys last year of businesses, they ranked it, I think, number 2 in terms of the things that most negatively impact businesses, right under health care, that regulatory changes to, and then taxes a third, I think. And then comes LD 1129, which is the act to provide DEP with regulatory flexibility. And I want to pose this to you, Peter, to start off the conversation. In rallying supporters to a public hearing, Linda Caprera from the State Chamber said on the website that this bill doesn't repeal the 2008 law, but narrows the scope to protect children under 12 and moves the state policy to be based on credible science, not fear-mongering. So talk to me more about why this piece of legislation is important to the Chamber and to businesses out there, and small business in particular.
Well, to condense the story,
I know it's a lot.
It's tough to summarize in 30 seconds, but the reality is you have a law that was passed 3 years ago. Many businesses see that as a problem and as potentially putting a chilling effect on job growth and economic development. You have over 1,700 chemicals on a list that the DEP has the authority to designate as priority chemicals and then potentially ban. Many of these chemicals run the gamut from some stuff that's very risky to some stuff that arguably isn't at all. And as long as this list is hanging out over the heads of businesses, they may be manufacturers, small manufacturers, large manufacturers. They may be other types of businesses, food businesses, other things like that. There's uncertainty. Will something that is critical to me end up on a list that is banned? And more importantly, if I'm a company that is located in another state and 49 other states don't have a law like Maine does, why would I come to Maine and offer my, and do the investment and having this law hanging over my heads that a critical element of my manufacturing process might be banned? All right.
I understand that for manufacturing and some sectors of manufacturing, but let me throw it to Kit and David too. Is that the kind of thing that when the candidates were out on the campaign trail last fall, when they were being talked about, you've got to reduce this regulation, this onerous regulation, is that the kind of thing businesses were talking about, this particular issues?
We certainly did not see it that way. As we read the Chamber's survey, the comments to us seemed much more focused on the process of how they're dealt with, a question of lengthy permitting and the perception of unfriendliness. Consumer service is what a lot of businesses, I think, were talking about. With respect to the Kids Safe legislation and the proposed amendments to it, let's be clear that only 2 chemicals out of 1,700 have been picked for further attention. Only 1 has been banned. It would be nice to remove all uncertainty for all manufacturers and every other business, but life isn't like that. Life is full of uncertainties. And the reason that the law was passed is the legislature was convinced there are too many toxins getting into our blood and into us, and that attention need to be paid to examine whether particular chemicals caused a risk. They don't get banned until they've demonstrated through a lot of study to pose a serious hazard, health hazard.
David, small businesses, what did they want?
Small businesses in that particular issue are not as heavily engaged as other companies, but they certainly have an interest in it. From their perspective, it is the overall regulatory reform packages, so the signals that it's sending to the business community that they want to remove barriers, they want to create a smoother road to getting businesses into a position where they can create jobs and make investments and have some assurance that those investments will have a reasonable period to pay off. And that's the perspective of small businesses. What is being done to change the way things have been going in Augusta? And you've had a creep of regulatory sort of stranglehold that's been building up over the years, and how do you remove that?
And what are the, I guess let's get back to that issue then. We're going to stick on regulations. I think that's an important one. What are those strangleholds, especially for small businesses, and is the administration and the new legislature, are they starting to address those things from your members' point of view?
They're starting to address them. Some of it can be a simple, a specific example doesn't come immediately to mind. What I hear in a general way is not always knowing what's expected, getting a different answer than what you got before, not being sure of the timetable, not being able to get guidance and understand. One of the things the Regulatory Fairness and Reform Committee is looking at, for example, is to create an ombudsman position to help sort of negotiate through those bottlenecks that a business may run into. They're also thinking about a small business advocate.
I'm going to come to Kit, then I'm going to come back to you. Kit, so regulatory reform...
We think the idea of an ombudsman is a really good idea. I think there are many ways in which small, stressed staffs of government agencies, and this is true in welfare departments as well as in regulatory departments dealing with business, get overstretched and therefore don't give timely answers, aren't always consistent in their application of rules. So we think that's where the focus should be, is on the application of rules rather than changing the rules. Because I think we also have to recognize the number of Maine businesses who depend upon a clean environment, which is what a lot of the rules have been about.
And I want to end up with you because we've got to end this segment here, but I'll let you have the last word on it. Because Dana, interesting, I was looking at the website, and Dana said in February, yes, it's all about balance, though, too. We've got to protect the environment. We've got to look at those regulatory stranglehold issues. Talk about that and how the Chamber wants to see that balance.
Well, I think that, then we're going to end where we started, which is on 11/29.
Yeah.
We put together what we thought was a very balanced approach to the Kid Safe law. And it's gotten a lot of interest, particularly bipartisan interest. I mean, Senator Goodall, a Democrat, has put in a bill to pare this list down. The issue is, regulatory reform means different things to different people. The reality is we at the Chamber think we can achieve balance in regulation and at the same time create an environment that allows job creation and opportunities for Maine people.
Okay. We're going to leave it there for right now, but I'm going to keep you around for an afterthought segment. We're going to come back. We're talking more about that. You can catch more of this in our exclusive Afterthought segment seen only on the web. Just go to mainbiz.biz and click on the Maine Biz Sunday link. We'll be right back.
Maine Biz Sunday is made possible in part by funding provided by the Finance Authority of Maine.